afternoon. Welcome in. It's wonderful to see so many people reconnecting. And I can't believe 12 o'clock got here so quick. So hopefully you all can catch up at your tables and after the meeting as well. So welcome to the December 19th meeting of the Rotary Club of Louisville. I'm Lori Flannery, and the President and CEO of New Directions. I'm the club president and the Paul Harris Fellow. I would like to remind you, if you brought your device with you today, any type of cell phone or tablet that rings or buzzes or shakes, if you wouldn't mind to please put it on silent or turn it off for the duration of today's meeting. All right, providing our invocation today is President-elect nominee Barbara Sexton Smith, Chief Rewirement Officer of BSS Enterprises, and Paul Harris Fellow +1.
Thank you, President Lori. Fellow Rotarians and guests, if you would pray with me in whichever way you choose to do so. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today to thank you for looking beyond all of our faults and for loving us unconditionally. And forgive us when we fail to love others in that same way. And we ask that you give us the eyes to see the needs of the difficult people in our lives. And show us how to meet those needs in a way that pleases you. And Lord, we don't know what's going to come before us today, and we will commit it all to you. So please give us the strength and the courage to get through the joys and the challenges and the happenings throughout today. And we thank you so much for giving us life in abundance and for each and every breath we take. Almighty, merciful God, in whose hands are our times, please, dear God, look with compassion, we pray, on your world in distress. And we trust in you. God, we put our confidence in you. And as we look out at this world so full of conflict, disruption, violence, and chaos, let us be rooted in you. And God, please let the waters of your peace flow out to all who are experiencing conflict. Open our ears and open our minds and soften our tongues as we use our hearts to do your work, O Lord. You who do not look away from the pain of the world, let us see that pain in the pain of our neighbors. We pray together today for an end to the war, an end to the violence in the world, and we turn to you, our refuge, our strength, because we know you are always with us. Tikkun Olam. Let us together repair the world, and let all God's people say, Amen.
Amen indeed, Barbara. Thank you so much for that very meaningful prayer this time of year. Now to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, we have Christy Flippins Bartlett, founder and CEO of Option to Success.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you could turn to the podium so that we can actually do the prayer. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we can go to the Lord, the four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, I know we got a lot of guests here today, so Rotarians, please go to this microphone to my right, your left, line up behind the microphone, and introduce the guest or guests that you have with you today. Make sure you say your name first, then your guest's name, and indicate any affiliation that they might have. Guests, when you hear your name, if you will please stand up so that the club members can see who you are, we would very much appreciate it. And guests, at the end, when you hear me ring the bell again at the end of the meeting, you're going to want to go over to the What is Rotary table, which is the furthest table over here in the corner. It has a What is Rotary placard on it to spend 5 or 6 minutes learning a little bit more about the club and what it means to be a Rotarian. Okay, let's go.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm Dr. Rick Smith. I brought brought Simmons Nation with me, so you're going to see that. I'll go through these quickly. First, we have Ms. Myra Rock, who is the Vice President and Chief of Staff. We have Dr. Ken Jobst, who is the Executive Vice President. Dr. Will Lucas.
Please stand when your name is called.
Dr. Will Lucas, Vice President of Enrollment. Ms. Tanya Walker, Chief Financial Officer. Dr. Frank Smith, Senior Executive Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Executive Vice President. Dr. Juvan Reed, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Dr. Walter Malone, Vice President of Student Life. Ms. Judy Hopp, Vice President of Finance. Mr. Glenn Davis, Vice President of Development. Ms. Vaughn Purdy, Vice President of Advancement and Community Engagement. Ms. Sherry Mills, who is Executive Assistant to the President and Director of, help me out, where's Sherry? JLJ Center, which you'll hear more about that. We have Kevin Christopher Cosby, who is videographer extraordinary. You'll see a sample of his work in just a minute in our marketing department. Ms. Joy Craig, who's Director of Student Life. I've got Daryl Fuller, who is President of Tantalum.
And a Directions Board member.
Is that all the Simmons people? And then, of course, my personal favorite, my love, Dr. Tashika Carlton. Masters in Medical Science program at Simmons.
Fabulous. Well, thank you, Dr. Rick, and welcome everyone who's a guest of his today.
President Lori, Tyler Allen. Thought about letting my guest introduce me, since I suspect more of you know who he is than me. But I have Professor Ricky Jones, former chair of the Pan-African Studies Department here at the University of Louisville, and current Baldwin King Scholar in Residence at the Environment Institute.
Fabulous. Welcome.
President Lori and fellow Rotarians and honored guests, I have two guests with me today. First, I will ask Amalia Gomez Guerra to stand. Amalia is one of our Rotary Fellows. And for our guest, a Rotary Fellow is someone who has the equivalent of or a Master's in Business Administration from the University of Louisville and agrees to serve a 3-year term with us. Amalia has a Master's in Science and Business Analytics, and she works for the great local city government, Louisville Metro. Amalia! And my second guest is Mr. David Whitehouse as he stands. Mr. Whitehouse is the managing partner and co-founder of Whitehouse and Rudolph, because he's the main show, Whitehouse Group. And I've had the pleasure of being in a front row seat in the last few years. If you want or need anything done on a local, state, or federal level, this is the man. You might want to talk to him. Thank you, President Rotary.
Glad, Lori.
Thank you, Barbara. And David and I go way back, so welcome to the club, David.
President Lori, fellow Rotarians, and our guest, it is my pleasure to introduce, as our guest here today, Michelle Young, RN. She is Chief Executive Officer of the Health Career Training Institute. We know how important healthcare is in our community, and she is training plenty. So let's welcome her today.
Welcome. And Janetta, make sure you introduce yourself.
Janetta Roberts, I run a real estate consulting firm that focuses on commercial properties west of 9th, the 40-1 Dreams Company.
Awesome. Thank you.
Fellow Rotarians, good afternoon. My name is Renee Brown, returning Rotarian, Paul Harris Fellow, and I'm glad to be back here with family. I'm really glad about that. I do want to say something about Rick. He's a show-off. Dr. Rick, where is he at? All of these people, there he is, right? He's back in line. Back in line. But I'm excited about who he is and what he brings. Rick and I go way back. But I do have a special guest that I brought with me as I come back. This is Wendy Dowd. Wendy and I work together in Humana. She's a Chief People Officer and a Chief Marketing Officer, and all things people, all things marketing. So I'm glad that Wendy's here with me today.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, President Lori, fellow Rotarian Ken Solangi, with a prospective Rotarian, Sean Spencer, who is a business owner, 2 businesses, Prime Solutions and My Hub Center.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. to save him for last. Yeah. Attorney Chris Sanders, as you can see, he was hiding back there. I did not see him. Chris Sanders works as legal counsel with Simmons College of Kentucky.
I'm a fellow lawyer, so I understand that. And last but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce my special guest today. Please stand, Marita Willis. Marita is the president of Community Engagement Community Ventures, which is a sister organization kind of ours as well. We do the same kind of work. So welcome, Marita. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, now we're ready for this week's announcements. The first one is that we need one more volunteer this Saturday. George, do you mind to stand up? We need one more volunteer this Saturday for our annual Battle of the Bells competition with the Kiwanis Club. So you see George Breakmeyer. And George, I have some money for you, if I can give it to you. You all can watch what I'm doing. You can do this as well. So we just need one more person. It's for 90 minutes. It's for this Saturday, which is December 21st. It is our battle with the Kiwanis Club. You guys are competitive. Make sure that we have that last position filled. But even if you can't do that, if you could give some money, that also will help our cause. So George Breakmeyer or Kelly Hutchinson. Is Kelly here today? Okay, so George is your man today. Please, please, please give, since that campaign is running its course. We would also like to express our appreciation for the University Club staff. They are providing great service to us every week, and we really appreciate it. So at the end of every year, we give them an envelope for them to share. If you look at your table, you will see an envelope that looks like this. I know you all have a lot of paper on your tables today. This is the one that has the University Club embossed on the back. And if you will watch again, this is what you do. Put your money and the envelope in your table. If you need another way to pay, this is our last meeting of the year, so please contact Delene before the end of the meeting so that you can make sure, because we plan to distribute this contribution, these end-of-year gifts, to our wonderful University Club staff before the end of the day. Thank you for that. Right. And then, as a reminder, we are fleecing you here today. As a reminder, if you'd like to get your annual contributions into our local fund, or the West Louisville Housing Initiative, this is a reminder, or the International Foundation before the end of the year, often obviously for tax purposes and sometimes just habit, please scan the QR codes at your table or contact Delene today if possible, again, so she can also take a little bit of time off at the end of the year. We want to remind you that the mayor will be doing his State of the City address with Rotary. That will be on January 30th of this year. It's going to be at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts, a lovely venue. The lunch is actually going to be at 11, so remember that because it's going to be early, and you're going to want to make sure you eat lunch at the designated time because you'll be eating in the lobby, and then at 11:45 you'll be moving into the theater, and so you will be leaving your meal behind, or it's probably better if you do that. Our Music and Arts Committee has planned a spectacular kickoff. Very excited about this. We're calling it a magical overture of the arts. We're going to have performances by the Kentucky Opera, the Louisville Ballet, and Teddy Abrams with the Louisville Orchestra. Excellent job, Music and Arts Committee, and working with the mayor's staff on that. So this seems crazy to me, but we are already talking about Rotary Day at Churchill Downs right now. It turns out, it feels like it gets earlier and earlier every year, but we have to put a $10,000 deposit down by Monday, January 6th, which is, as you know, just right around the corner. And so Delene is really trying to understand what our demand might be for that. So if you think that you might go to that, please, please, please pay attention. The Rotary Day at the Downs is going to be on Champions Day, which is Wednesday, April 30th. We must submit the deposit by January 6th in order to reserve a space. Tickets are $149 per person, and this includes admission, the racing program, a 4-hour chef's table buffet that includes coffee, tea, and soft drinks, and a 4-hour open bar. worth the $149. I pretty much guarantee that. It's going to be in Churchill Downs. We will be returning to the Self balcony. If you were there last year, you know it was an absolutely wonderful experience. That's some of their new space that they just unveiled as part of their Derby 150 this last year. But we will continue to explore indoor options because it is a little bit at the whim of the weather. And we all know what the weather's like at the beginning of May. So it will either be the Silks balcony or someplace that's deemed to be superior to that. Okay. Now I'd like to invite to the podium Karen Morrison, President and CEO of Gilda's Club Kentuckiana, Chair of the Awards Recognition Committee, for a special presentation.
Thank you, President Lori. When we are considering Service Above Self Award recipients, it's really challenging because Service Above Self is what we are all about. When you look at the collective good that the folks in this room do with their philanthropic gifts of time and treasure, it is really incredible. So we always have a difficult time. Nevertheless, there are still those who stand down, even among great servant leaders, as those of you in this room. So today we would like to recognize someone who truly epitomizes the steadfast dedication to service week after week, year after year. And I'd like to invite our past president, one of the best presidents we've ever had, Walt Canal, chair of our Youth and Education Committee, to present that award.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Service Above Self recognizes members of the Rotary Club of Louisville who have demonstrated recent significant service to the club, going above and beyond through excellent work on a project or committee service. This award will be given periodically throughout the year. Today, we're here to honor Craig Mooney, a member of Rotary since 2018. Craig is married to Melanie, and they have 2 children, Aubrey and Mick. If you want to go to Korea, Craig's son Mick is the one to ask for advice. Professionally, Craig is the COO and CFO for Blessing Construction. Before that, he started in the family business called Berno's Pizza. Y'all know what the busiest day is Berno's Pizza here? It's Valentine's Day with the Valentine's shaped pizza. Is that right, Craig? That is right, absolutely. Craig has been on the Fraser Museum and the Louisville Science Center boards. We can thank Barry Parker, one of the best darn presidents ever, for sponsoring Craig. For Rotary, Craig serves on the club board and the fund board with the title of treasurer at both. He's also chair of the Rotary Honors Scholars. I recruited Craig to be vice chair before I became president of the club, and Craig became chair of that committee shortly thereafter. He's been outstanding in that role. He works with both Western and Iroquois high schools, sets the date of our mentoring, and leads each session. Last year, Craig recruited our speaker, Scotty Davenport. Craig, come on up and accept this award and keep up your service above self. And last week while I was doing the West End school stuff, I neglected to give you all these trading cards for our kids at the West End school. They're on your table, and if you want more information about the West End school, please talk to me. Thanks, bye.
Karen, you're back up.
Is it for a picture? With Craig?
To announce the lifetime service award.
Okay,
So sorry.
Okay, I was sitting there thinking, I forgot to talk about lifetime service. I didn't realize I would have another chance in a moment. I need to pay more attention. Well, congratulations, Craig. Thank you, Walt, for that. And again, congratulations to everyone for the incredible difference that you make. But we are now accepting nominations for Lifetime Service Award. We'll be presenting that in the spring. The committee will start looking at that before the end of this year, and well, early next year. So please, if you have anybody in mind for that, let me or Lynn know. Very simple nomination process. Put the name out there and we will move forward with that. Basically, that award is presented annually to one Rotarian who has been a member for at least 10 years and has demonstrated a lifelong adherence to the Rotary service above self ideal. Last year's recipient was Dr. Linda Archer-Moore, and you can see nomination forms right at your table. The link is also in the Sparks. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen and Walt, and congratulations again, Craig. Very well deserved. All right, so now I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Rick Smith. This will be his third time. Rick is, I call him Dr. Rick. But anyway, he is Senior Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Simmons College of Kentucky. He's a club director. He's the chair of the DEI committee, and he's the vice chair of the Youth and Education Committee, and he recently published a book called Keep Moving the Goalpost, How to Move Around Obstacles and On to Opportunity. So I think it's going to be in the media here pretty soon, but you saw it here first, right?
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Third time back, you know I'm a little microphone shy, right? Anyway, this is a little intimidating, and I never get intimidated, but I have an opportunity to introduce someone who I hold in very high regard. It's not every day that you get to introduce a living legend, a man who, if he ever wrote his autobiography, you might write this down, President, he could title it The Renaissance Man's Handbook, How to Pastor, President, and Powerfully Impact a Community All at Once. Dr. Kevin W. Cosby is not just the president of Simmons College of Kentucky, he's the heartbeat of a movement. Under his leadership, Simmons has grown from a diamond in the rough to a shining jewel in higher education. It's reclaimed its legacy as the nation's 107th historically black college. That deserves applause right there. If you think that's impressive, let me remind you, that's just his day job. Dr. Cosby is also senior pastor of what I believe is the largest African-American church in the Commonwealth, St. Stephen Church, where he spent over 4 decades not just preaching, but practicing what he preaches, building communities, mentoring leaders, and giving hope to thousands. He's an author, an advocate, and someone who can turn a vision into reality faster than a Rotarian can say, pass the sweet tea. However, what I admire most about him is his relentless commitment to justice, equity, and ensuring Simmons remains a beacon of opportunity for future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, after we play a short video, please give a warm Rotary welcome to a trailblazer, a visionary, and a man whose impact truly knows no bounds, the 13th president of Simmons College of Kentucky, Dr. Kevin W. Cosby.
Hello, my name is Kevin Cosby, and I'm the president of Simmons College of Kentucky, Louisville's HBCU. Simmons is the comeback story of HBCUs in the United States of America. We were founded in 1879. We're one of the oldest HBCUs in our country, and we are thriving and reaching new heights constantly, continuously. We have this video that will help explain to you all that's happening here at Simmons College of Kentucky. I hope you will be inspired by what you see is happening here at Simmons Nation.
Since 1879, Simmons College of Kentucky has been a beacon of hope, empowerment, and academic excellence in Louisville. As one of the nation's historically black colleges and universities, we have nurtured generations of leaders, scholars, and changemakers. Our mission is clear: to educate and empower individuals to become productive citizens and agents of change. Rooted in a legacy of faith and community leadership, Simmons College of Kentucky stands as a testament to the power of education. But our journey is far from over. Today we are on the cusp of a new chapter, a chapter of legacy and renewal. The Simmons College 2025 campaign is vision for the future, an initiative that touches every corner of our institution. Our fundraising efforts are dedicated to vital areas that will support our mission and goals, ensuring that Simmons remains a premier institution for generations to come. The annual fund is the lifeblood of our college, providing unrestricted support for immediate needs, from enhancing academic programs and faculty development to scholarships and campus maintenance. Our capital campaign is focused on building out our campus infrastructure. On June 7th, 2025, Simmons College of Kentucky leaders made a historic purchase that will forever change our campus landscape. We acquired a 2-tower, 350-bed residence hall from a neighboring institution located on 4th Street. This acquisition expanded our campus footprint and marked a pivotal moment in our history, as it represented the first student housing Simmons had owned in 100 years since 1924. Our new residence hall will have a tremendous positive impact on student enrollment, retention, and the overall on-campus experience. Our plan is to renovate the building in phases. Phase 1 of this project, completed in August 2024, included priority repairs, the introduction of Simmons branding, and general building improvements. Phase 2 will completely transform the South Tower, central lobby, lower levels, courtyard, and a new 4-story addition. The Winston and Alma Pittman Senior Residence Hall will support students holistically in their academic, physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. We are committed to building a state-of-the-art athletic and student center, a hub for athletic excellence and student and community engagement. This new facility is essential for our athletes and our entire student body, offering spaces for events, study, and recreation. Your support will help us bring this vision to life, creating a cornerstone for student life and community connection. Endowments are the bedrock of our financial stability, ensuring that Simmons College can continue its mission for years to come. By contributing to our endowment, you're supporting scholarships, faculty positions, and academic programs that are crucial to our success. Scholarships and financial aid are the keys to making education accessible. Your contributions directly impact the lives of our students, opening doors for those from underrepresented and low-income backgrounds to pursue their dreams. We are also focused on programmatic support, faculty development, and technology innovation, areas that allow us to grow and adapt, ensuring our students are equipped with the skills to lead, innovate, and inspire. Our commitment extends beyond the classroom. We are dedicated to enriching the student experience through extracurricular activities, enhancing academic resources, and deepening our community engagement. At Simmons College of Kentucky, we offer comprehensive academic courses designed to equip our students for success in various fields. With 16 total academic pathways, including majors like computer information systems, applied psychology, and sociology, and our recently launched teacher education program, aimed at increasing the number of African American teachers. We ensure every student can find a path that aligns with their passions and career goals. Among these is our flagship Master in Medical Science program, designed to increase the number of African Americans entering allied healthcare fields. Our Executive Leadership Academy offers tailored programs for non-traditional students that provide the skills needed to excel in leadership roles. We are also proud to offer dual credit opportunities for high school students and to be Kentucky's only provider of the Second Chance Pell Program for justice-involved individuals. Planned giving and legacy gifts offer a unique opportunity to leave a lasting impact. By including Simmons in your estate plans, you ensure that your commitment to education, empowerment, and community development continues for generations. Together, we can build on our legacy of faith, leadership, and academic excellence.
I hope you've been inspired by the Simmons College of Kentucky story, so inspired that you would become part of Simmons Nation, that you would pray for our school, that you would come and visit our school, that you would recommend our school. Our city will only be as strong as the institutions, especially those institutions that are attracting people to our city that will serve as the future workforce for our city, especially helping to promote what healthy cities have, and that is diversity. There are many cities in our state. However, there's only one city that can say we have a private HBCU, and that's Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you. Join us in making Louisville and HBCU town.
President Lori, if you ever see a tortoise on a fence post, please know that tortoise did not get there on his own. That tortoise was assisted. And Simmons College has been assisted to achieve remarkable feats that we have accomplished during my 20 years as the president of Simmons College. Mr. Carl Thomas is here. Where are you, Carl? Thank you so very much. This man here really gave us the grant that helped to catapult Simmons to the next level. You believed in us when no one else did, along with Barry Allen and the Gaines Foundation. I'm so grateful to both of you. Thank you so much. In 1865, 4 months after the close of the Civil War, only 4 of the 4 million formerly enslaved persons across this country, only 5% were living. 50 years later, by 1915, the year Booker T. Washington died, 85% of the formerly enslaved were literate. This is all attributable to the role that schools like Simmons College, HBCUs, historical black colleges and universities, played. Simmons was one of the first Civil War, post-slavery institutions to be established. In fact, it was established in August of 1865. And here are some statements that were made about Simmons during the time of its founding. This is Elijah W. Green. That's a book that was written by a scholar at University of Kentucky Press, which talks about Elijah W. Green in our state, because he was, in a sense, the precursor to Rosa Parks in 1955. He integrated, personally, Elijah Green integrated the railways in the state of Kentucky. But this is what, if you can go back to this is what Elijah Green said. We, oh brother, this is when the state of Kentucky Baptist Convention met for the purpose of establishing Simmons, 4 months after the Civil War. We, oh brethren, just out of slavery, many of us not having the privilege to learn, thought it a grand thing to build an educational structure upon which, when we are dead, our children will look with pride and call us blessed. This was in 1865. And in 1916, 1 year after the death of Booker T. Washington, a scholar wrote this about the groundswell of education that took place among the formerly enslaved. Harriet Beecher Stowe, who wrote to Uncle Tom's Cabin, said that the formerly enslaved wanted books over bread. So passionate were our people to be educated. That
That's a new one.
That's
I haven't had that happen before.
okay.
You got too much electricity flowing out of you up there?
Okay. Here we go. And this is what, go back to this. It says the most remarkable instance, this is when black colleges began to form. The most remarkable instance occurred at Louisville, Kentucky. This is in 1960, where a group of unlettered ex-slaves met in an old building in August succeeding the close of the war in 1865. And though bearing the marks of slavery in their bodies and simply knowing that the university was a place of learning, took steps to begin a school which gradually developed into what came to be known as the State University of Kentucky. They would change their name 2 years later to Simmons. It was State University at this time. State University of Kentucky, now Simmons College, Kentucky, a large and flourishing college for colored people, which stands today in Louisville with buildings and grounds in the heart of that city. Throughout the years, from that early time till now, it's done an excellent work, not alone for the colored race, but for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and is still a great educational lighthouse to a struggling people. And this was written by B.F. Riley, Life and Times of Booker T. Washington, 1916. And that last phrase, and it's still a great educational lighthouse to a struggling people, I can say that in 2024, that is still true. Simmons College is the comeback HBCU in America. Let me rephrase that. There has never been a college that has made greater strides in American history like Louisville's HBCU. And I would like to ask some of my colleagues to come up at this time, and they will give support and credibility to that thesis. And that is our provost, Dr. Joanne Reed.
Good morning, distinguished members of the Rotary Club. My journey as a student started at Edward Waters College, located in Jacksonville, Florida, and that HBCU changed the trajectory of my life. I went on to earn a PhD in urban higher education from Jackson State University, I love, and I shared that information with you today because my story began in a classroom much like Simmons College of Kentucky. And I remember sitting, not knowing where my journey through historical black colleges and universities will lead me, like through the halls of Wilberforce University and campus of Wiley College, and eventually to Louisville here, where we're building something extraordinary at Simmons College. And each HBCU campus has taught me something unique and powerful about education and its ability to transform lives. The experience under Dr. Cosby's leadership has been unmatched. It has been, if I get to be a footnote when they recall the story of Simmons College of Kentucky, it will truly be an honor. But today at Simmons, we're not just building programs, we're building an engine of innovation and social change. Like our recent partnership with the National Science Foundation, it gives us an opportunity to step in the right direction towards pathways in STEM education. This initiative to scale undergraduate research combined with Louisville's growing reputation as a tech hub and our strategic location in the U of L Nulu Innovative Corridor positions our graduates at the intersection of opportunity and innovation. And today, if I look at the academic programs at the institution, I see transformational potential for Louisville's future. Let me just paint a picture and imagine a young woman from West Louisville graduating with a bachelor's of applied mathematics, bringing fresh perspective to local firms as a data analyst. Or one of our computer information systems students developing solutions for Louisville's growing tech sector and understanding the unique needs of an underserved community. Our Master of Science and Medical Science program isn't just creating healthcare professionals, it's developing culturally competent professionals and practitioners who understand diverse needs of every Louisville neighborhood. And when you visit a doctor's office in 2030, that professional might be a Simmons graduate who brings medical expertise and cultural understanding to their practice. Our business students, we're not just teaching management principles, we're cultivating entrepreneurs who understand what it means for that businesses serve all of the communities in Louisville. And our graduates, they just don't see market opportunities, they see opportunity to lift up entire neighborhoods. And let me just share that this tapestry of positive change in Louisville, even through our applied psychology program, and let's consider early childhood programs where we're not just training teachers, but we're developing early childhood specialists who understand the critical first 5 years of a child's development. And our sociology programs and even our musicians and filmmakers tell the stories of Louisville to the rest of the world. Our vision aligns perfectly with Louisville's capacity. And as the city grows in its reputation as a hub for healthcare, technology, and innovation, Simmons graduates are positioned to be key players in this transformation. The economic impact of these programs extend far beyond these success stories. But as I stand here today, I'm reminded of what Dr. Lucian Yates teaches. No one can be what they cannot see. And this is the type of wisdom that guides the work we do at Simmons College, and as we prepare the next generation of leaders. So when we talk about building Louisville's future, we're talking about creating a workforce not just skilled, but transformative. And our graduates won't just fill jobs, they will change them. They'll bring new perspective, new solutions, and new possibilities to every role they take on. And that's the power of education for both that's rigorous, relevant, and technical, and transformative in the global outlook, but deeply rooted in this community. Thank you for this opportunity to share about the academic enterprise at Simmons College.
When I started at Simmons in 2015, the school was on the brink of closing. We had no buildings, no money, no accreditation. All we had was history. The school never closed. And I realized because the school never closed, if we could get the school accredited, that Simmons could become the final and last HBCU in American history. There will never be another HBCU. And since that time, we have moved from, at that time when I went to Simmons with no buildings, we had around about a $100,000 budget. 20 years later, $18 billion. If Dr. Will Lucas would come over enrollment management.
Thank you for that introduction, Dr. Cosby, and thank you for the Rotary for welcoming us this afternoon. I am Dr. Will Lucas. I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of Enrollment Management at Simmons College of Kentucky. And among my colleagues here this afternoon with us, I am still relatively the new kid. Okay? My family and I relocated, my wife and two daughters relocated to the city of Louisville in June of this year. And I honestly do not believe that I could have joined the Simmons family at a better time. This is not my first HBCU, okay? This is number 4 for me. And I can say thoroughly that I have not witnessed the momentum of an institution personally like Simmons College has today. All right, I'm not going to spoil all the fun facts and great things you're going to hear later on from my colleagues, but I am going to take 1 second to share our enrollment growth from where we were to where we're going. So if you don't mind, I want you to zoom out with me a little bit. We're going to go back to the year of 2021. In 2021, Simmons College of Kentucky had a full-time enrollment of 167 students. I'll let that settle in as we grow. And from 2021 to 2022, Simmons College enrolled 237 students. From 2022 to 2023, Simmons College of Kentucky had a full-time enrollment of 390 students. And this past fall, in 2024, Simmons College of Kentucky surpassed in full-time enrollment of over 500 students. More in place because, ladies and gentlemen, that is an enrollment growth of over 210%. And for an institution this size, it's unheard of. Okay? And let's zoom back in to where we are today. Okay? And just for context, last year, in that recruitment cycle, Simmons College had 474 total applications. Okay? Going into this holiday break for this recruitment cycle, we have surpassed 1,500 applications with over 1,000 of those students being admitted. We only at halftime. Okay? We got a whole half to go. We got to close. All right, but ladies and gentlemen, I share these figures with you, not only to brag and boast, not to brag and boast, but to just shed light. Because not only is the work being put in on campus, but our prospective students and future Falcons are really beginning to notice it. This is just the beginning of us laying the foundation for that runway that is going to allow our enrollment to grow to thousands of students and beyond in future years to come. Okay, so we really thank you for your continued support. We welcome you to on campus to come and visit us. And then, you know, anybody in high school looking for a college home, then Simmons College of Kentucky will take care of it. Thank you.
And besides the students who are coming to our city from 28 states, it's the faculty, the scholars. The gentlemen you've heard from are PhD scholars who relocated from other places to our city. So this is just a boom. And there will, as I said, there will never be another HBCU. To be an HBCU, you had to be in existence prior to 1965. Simmons started in 1879. And well, let me invite Ken Jones, Dr. Ken Jones, to come now, and he's over institutional effectiveness. BP.
Thank you, President Cosby. Greetings, Rotarians. I just have a couple of things I would like to share with you this afternoon. First of all, the modern history of Simmons College of Kentucky, and I define modern history as from 2005 to the present, is like the best episode of Antiques Roadshow. Because watch, what happens in Antiques Roadshow? You come into a place and you bring this thing that's always been in the house and nobody ever knew what it was for or what it did. You bring it in and there's an appraiser, there's an expert who takes a look at it and says, you know what? You've got an absolute priceless treasure here. This is an HBCU. All it needs to do is be, perked up a little bit, but this is one of the most outstanding resources a community can have. So I just have a couple of things I'd like to share with you about the impact of Simmons College of Kentucky. And first of all, let's take a look in terms of Louisville. What's the impact on Louisville? There have been studies that have been done on the economic impacts of HBCUs across the country. But for Louisville's HBCU, for our HBCU, this statistic stands out. And it's this, that for every dollar that goes into Simmons College of Kentucky, it generates $1.68 worth of economic impact. Now, in the context of nationwide HBCUs, Simmons is leading in that particular figure. So in terms of economic impact for the local community, Simmons leads. I understand there's another HBCU in Kentucky, a state-supported HBCU. Their economic impact is $1.04 for the dollar that goes in. So Simmons at $1.68 is having a tremendous economic impact in Louisville, Kentucky. And then one other thing, economic impact in the lives of our graduates. Our graduates, when they come across the stage in the spring to receive their degree, their name is read, they're handed their diploma, they come across to the president who gives them what we have come to call the $1 million handshake. And here's the $1 million handshake. It's $1 million is the difference in lifetime earnings that student will achieve because they have a Simmons degree versus a high school diploma. So we're serious about that economic impact aspect. And from an ROI perspective, the return on investment for that student was 1,500%. Where else are you going to find a 1,500% ROI but at Simmons College of Kentucky, right? So we have a treasure in this community. Simmons is still true to its founding mission, which is to bring about the birthplace of the black middle class in Kentucky. Rotarians, I want to thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
HBCUs are just 3% of the colleges in America. They graduate about 23% of all black college graduates. 50% of all black public school teachers and public school personnel.
50% come from 3% of the college. 85% of all black doctors and lawyers attended a historical black college and university. And brilliant professors who attended the second best HBCU in America, Morehouse College, and that is the great Dr. Ricky Jones. We're so honored to have as our Chief of Staff PhD candidate, Myra Locke. We'd ask if she would come and share.
I've been told that I need to go quickly, so I'm going to take 3 minutes. Today, Simmons is on the cusp of a new chapter as we build on a legacy. We are laying the foundation and structuring the college for growth as we carry forward the bold vision of our visionary leader. All eyes are on Simmons, and everyone is asking, what's next? So I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes telling you what's next for Simmons. I will tell you that we have created the William J. Simmons Foundation, a separate 501c3 created to hold the college's first endowment in our 145-year history, ensuring the college is sustained for generations to come. We've launched a $100 million capital campaign to seed the endowment and fund our capital projects. We're in the early to mid stages of our 5-year institutional strategic plan, as well as our first comprehensive campus master plan, and both will be published next year, in 25. Our strategic plan includes expanded academic offerings, expanded student life and athletic programs, as well as enrollment growth to 1,500 students by fall 2030. Right, Dr. Lucas? Okay.
Amen.
This is our current campus footprint. Our campus master plan will expand and shape the campus footprint while addressing deferred maintenance and infrastructure needs. It focuses on key areas of campus life, including housing, mobility and wayfinding, as well as activity centers and student spaces. At the heart of our capital campaign and our campus master plan is our newly acquired Pittman Hall. The north tower of Pittman Hall will reach full occupancy in fall of 25, and this is our plan for the multi-million-dollar renovation that's needed to open and house students in the south tower. You may have heard our women's basketball team won the national championship this year. We're grateful to St. Stephen Church for allowing Simmons to practice and compete in their gym. Without St. Stephen Church, we wouldn't have a place to practice and compete. But Simmons needs our own athletic facilities. So this is our planned state-of-the-art student and athletic center, which will provide our students a place to compete and train, as well as have recreation and campus events. As we head into 2025, Simmons is excited for the future, and we celebrate the man who got us here. According to recent studies, the average tenure of an HBCU president is just over 2 years today. May I get a drum roll, please? In just 4 weeks, on January 15th, we will celebrate Reverend Dr. Kevin Cosby for 20 years as president of Louisville's HBCU.
Thank you. In closing, I am a native of Louisville. I'm a lifelong resident of West Louisville by choice. And the West Louisville that I see today, and the West Louisville that nurtured me as a child, if you were to ask me the difference between
West Louisville in the 1960s when Muhammad Ali lived in West Louisville, when the first black doctor at Jewish Hospital, Dr. Moses, lived in West Louisville, when Ed Calais, the sports director, lived in Louisville, West Louisville. Here's the difference. The West Louisville of my childhood was a West Louisville that had black institutions. That's the difference. We had strong black families, strong black churches, strong black schools, and by black institutions, I mean institutions that reflect the 3 C words: control, culture, and celebration. The black community in West Louisville has been institutionalized. We ask the question, how can you learn values? You cannot learn values if you do not have institutions in your community that teach those values. My 45 years as a pastor, my 20 years as the president of Simmons College, and for the rest of my life, I am dedicating myself to the reconstituting of black institutions in the black community, especially since we have not fully committed ourselves to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And since we're moving away from diversity, equity, and inclusion, might I add 2 letters to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that's C and E. And that is capitalization, and E, empowering black-led institutions. And that spells de-ice. If we can de-ice the resources so that Simmons College of Kentucky, this 145-year-old institution, which is the slave's gift to the city of Louisville, if we can de-ice the resources, it is no telling what the city of Louisville will be, because it has a historical black college and university. The wise men say up in the hills, the best HBCU is in Louisville. Thank you so very much.
President and Dr. Cosby, and Reverend Cosby as well, if you wouldn't mind to stand there and just entertain if we have any questions from our fellow Rotarians. If any Rotarians do have questions, please come to this microphone and line up. If you do have to leave, I know some people have obligations and we're at the 1 o'clock mark, you are of course free to leave. But if anybody has any questions, please come up here to this microphone right now.
Good afternoon, Dr. Cosby. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you for a couple of things before I ask my question. So, last year or the year before, my name is Walt Kuhn. I'm former president, but I do a lot of work with the West End School, and I had a former student there that had not done very well at Memphis, and he came home and he was just sitting on his hands. And this is the last week of August. And I had a friend that knew Jerry Eves really well. This kid wanted to play basketball, so he calls Jerry, we bring him down, and you all got him in Simmons within like 3 days. And that was just impressive, and I wanted to say that. Unfortunately, he didn't stay, but the good news for this young man, he's becoming an electrician right now. That's a good place for him, but I wanted to thank you for that. Also, Rotary, we hadn't talked about this today, but we have West Louisville Housing Initiative, I think you know, and I think we've got 6, 7, do you know?
At least 5.
At least 5 folks that are in their first-time houses because of what Rotary has done. We also, since Henry Heiser just left, but Henry set up the Rotary Honor Scholars Program in 2011, actually. We started in 2014. But we fund scholarships to Western and Iroquois High School seniors through Evolve 502. So one of the questions is, how would you grade your partnership with Evolve 502, and how's that coming, trying to, I know one of your places you're trying to emphasize was teachers, and that's important too. If you comment on that, I got one more question.
Well, Simmons started as a teacher's college in 1879, and I'm excited because recently our teacher education program was approved this year by the state of Kentucky. So we are now in the business of recruiting and training teachers for Jefferson County Public Schools. And as it relates to Evolve 502, Dr. Lucas is working hand in glove with Evolve 502. I don't know what you have any data concerning that?
Definitely. So, Evolve, I actually have the privilege of serving on the Evolve 502 Scholarship Committee. I'm under the leadership of Madam Marlon Cole. Currently, we have over 75 applicants just out of Jefferson County Public School Systems to Simmons College of Kentucky. And anything that you have moving forward, I can definitely get in contact with you and share details on how we'd like to move forward.
And one thing for you, if you would like to come visit Western Iroquois High Schools, we would make that happen.
100%.
So
100%. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And then the last question is, you were just talking about JCPS and how things have been taken away from West Louisville. Is that, would you think that breaking up JCPS into smaller bits that would benefit the Black community be better?
I think that JCPS being faithful to what it said it was going to do as it relates to transportation and access to various schools, I think is the most important.
President Cosby, Tyler Allen, thank you for being here. You talked about the growth in enrollment, and could you talk a little bit about the importance to students of color about being at a historically Black institution, and your observation now in the state of Kentucky, whether or not those same students are feeling less welcome at other non-historically Black institutions?
That's a very good question. I think it would take someone like Dr. Ricky Jones, who's at the University of Louisville, to share with you many of the horror stories that many Black students are experiencing in predominantly white institutions. The value of HBCUs is that Black students get to see a Black president. I knew my first year in college when I saw, in the summer, a Black student walk across the stage and get their diploma. When I saw that, I said, I will graduate. Because I saw somebody who looked like me excelling. So we created an aspirational role model for me. The value of HBCUs, it's similar. I like, as a child, I loved American Bandstand. Loved it. Watched it every Saturday. Dick Clark was a progressive person. He would have Black persons on. And when I was a child, you have to understand, you didn't see Black people on television. In fact, whenever there was a Black person on television, Ted Knight show, any show, I would run into my mother, Mama, Negro's on television, because you didn't see it. So we would watch American Bandstand, because periodically they would have Black entertainers. But something happened in the early 70s that came out of Chicago that just transformed me. And it's called Soul Train. And when I got Soul Train, I didn't watch American Bandstand because it fit me culturally. It was designed for me. It was shoes that fit my feet. And HBCUs culturally fit Black students. And I'm happy that we have, in terms of student engagement, student life, the best in America. And that's Dr. Walter Malone, because it's the experience that students
my child graduated from Virginia Military Institute. She graduated at the top, and she returned home, and I met some of your staff last year here at Rotary. And I got home excitedly, told my daughter, and she contacted Dr. Carlton, and she fell in love. And so she is now in graduate school at Simmons. Oh. So you're part of the Simmons Nation, and I wanted to ask you about the Master's Medical Science, how that program came to be, and the importance of it in health equity.
Well, Simmons pioneered education. The first black doctors in the state of Kentucky were trained at Simmons College. If you go to Norton Hospital West Campus, there is a monument in honor of the pioneers in education for the black community. I think of the 8 panels, 4 of the panels is in honor of a former graduate of Simmons. So our ultimate goal, in fact, Simmons had a medical school. We were one of only 7 colleges, black colleges in America that had a medical school. We lost our medical school because of the reform of Abraham Flexner. So when you go down to Jewish Hospital, you have Abraham Flexner way. He instituted reform that closed Simmons Medical School. Had there not been the racism of the day, how far would the city of Louisville be if Louisville had what Nashville has with Meharry or Howard has with Howard Medical School? We should have right now Simmons Medical School. So our first step with this Master's in Medical Science, our first step is trying to the best of our ability to reclaim the Simmons that once was 100 years ago. Simmons College lost its campus in 1930. Buildings built by enslaved people whose names are on the building lost that in 1930. We regained that campus. We lost the University of Louisville. University of Louisville took over our campus in 1930 and converted it in 1931 to 1951 to their segregated division. From 1931, the only school blacks could attend was the segregated division, which was formerly Simmons College campus. My father, because of racism, could not attend the Belknap campus of the University of Louisville. He had to go to the segregated division. And Raymond Kent School social worker, who was the president, in downsizing Simmons and taking all of our departments and professors, said that Simmons is a poor excuse. This is what he said for university. What he should have said was that the United States was a poor excuse for a democracy. Because it was the segregation of the day that made Simmons necessary. And so we've got our campus back 84 years after we lost our campus. We're back on the same campus. We've got many of our degrees back, and our ultimate goal is that medical school and our law school. We can get those programs back. Thank you.
President Cosby, Jeff Underhill. My little company does redevelopment work, and in the 90s I was approached by some folks in the Limerick neighborhood. Could I take a look at an old vacant home on 6th Street? And I said I'd come over, and didn't have any great intention doing anything with it, but being vacant and neglected home actually had some great bones. And what I learned, the more I dug into it, what a great history it had on it. It was the home for Charles Parrish Sr., later Charles Parrish Jr. And so I set about a renovation with that in the building next door to create housing out of them, and had great satisfaction when we had a ribbon cutting that the widow of Charles Parrish came to the ribbon cutting. Hot day, she had gloves on, and just wonderful woman. But to learn the history, candidly, growing up in Louisville, I knew very little about Simmons. And I'm a person who celebrates history. It's part of my business and preservation. But I don't want to be living in the past. I want to take the best of the past and combine it with the best of today and with a plan for the future. And that's very much what I applaud you doing with Simmons. Your tenure at Simmons sounds fantastic. The testimony that's been given today, your plan for the future. But I also think that this community would be well served to hear more of the fabulous history about the parishes and the overlap with U of L and coming from being born into slavery. What an incredible story. Bought the home on 6th Street in a very segregated area that used to be owned by the Sealback family. So fabulous history, and I wish you luck in everything moving forward. But please tell this community more of the history so they'll embrace more of your future.
I sure appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, tell the parish story before you go. He's part of Charles Parish. Tell the parish and U of L story. That's needed.
Chair, Simmons integrated University of Louisville, the professors in higher education. Charles Parrish Sr., who was the president of Simmons, his son, Charles Parrish Jr., was a PhD scholar in sociology trained at the University of Chicago. When Municipal College for Negroes was established, which was the segregated wing of Simmons, U of L. They recruited from Simmons, many of our professors. One of them was Charles Parrish Jr. Charles Parrish Jr., brilliant scholar, in 1951, with the University of Louisville integrated. There were 19 black professors at the formerly segregated part of U of L Municipal College, 19. And they said, okay, we can only have one of you. So they made them choose, the 19, you had to choose which would be the one to be the first black professor at the University of Louisville. And the one was Charles Parrish. And he integrated not only the University of Louisville, but higher education in the South. The first black person to be a professor of a major Southern university, came from Simmons College, and it was the University of Louisville. When you look at the memorial out here, where the Confederate statue used to be, it's the Charles Parrish Jr. Memorial. And they talk about Charles Parrish Jr. as being the first black person to integrate U of L. But what they omit is the 18 other black faculty members who were not retained because they did not want full diversity in 1950.
Let's hear it again for Dr. Cosby and his very strong team. Thank you all for spending time with us today. It's wonderful. So, of course, as we've said, this is the last meeting of 2024. We will meet here again on Thursday, January 9th. Our speaker will be Joe Haas. Joe is going to be the head of the American Printing House for the Blind's new museum called the DOT Experience. And it's supposed to be an incredible new thing that's going to open in 2026. So you'll get to hear about it here first if you can join us. You have to RSVP by Monday, January 6th at noon. Or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen in front of you today. I want to remind the guests, if you have a moment, to please stop over to the What is Rotary table after I ring the bell. And obviously I want to wish everyone here, you and your friends and your family and the people that you work with, a wonderful holiday season and a Happy New Year.